Welcome back to Regen Rovers, this Football Manager 2017 Creator Club series. Today it's episode 43 and it's the start of Regen Rovers' 6th ever season and our second season in the National League Premier. As you can see there, higher expectations this season. I decided I'm going to go for a mid-table finish. That's the maximum I could pick when the board came to me with their expectations. After we finished 7th last season, I do believe we should easily be able to comfortably finish mid-table at least. I'm aiming for higher. You always have to aim high, don't you? And with Regen Rovers, the sky's the limit, I do believe. You can see that we've still got some money left, and the wage budget's pretty big now for us. If we just have a look, we've still got pretty much half of our wage budget left, £58,760 left in the transfer budget. I don't really spend money because I don't need to. I occasionally spend money. You've noticed me spending a little bit of money over the series, unintentionally in that first season of course, but since then I've spent a little bit of cash here and there. So today's video, first of all I'm going to go through the new signings, then we'll have a look at how we got on in pre-season, and then lastly we're going to take on Barrow in the first game of the season. Pretty tough start to the season because they finished high up last year. I think they're in the playoffs but failed. I'm going to put a like target on this video. I haven't had any like targets for a long time in this series, so if we could smash 400 likes today, that will make me very happy indeed. Also, we're very close to 1,000 likes on the Regen Rovers Twitter, which is pretty amazing really for a fake club, a fake Football Manager club. It's real in our hearts, isn't it? In this parallel universe that is Regen Rovers, it is very real to us. I'm starting to care about Regen Rovers more than real football, to be honest. If you haven't followed Regen Rovers on Twitter, please head over and follow the page so you can just keep up to date with a few light-hearted things. I'm basically pretending it's a real club and tweeting things out. But there's also polls on there to decide the new kits. For example, these kits that have been selected by you guys for this 6th season. So the first kit, this is the home kit, this is the away kit, and this is the third kit that has been selected by you guys on Twitter. The fourth kit is staying the same, the one made by Tekog Steve FM last year. That's going to be our FA Trophy kit. That's the one that commemorates our promotion season, all the players that took part in that promotion season. So that's going to be, in our parallel universe, the fourth kit that we will use in the FA Trophy this year. You can buy the kits in the club shop, of course. I really do wish that we could make some shirts at some point. It possibly could happen sometime in the future. We'll see how the Regen Rovers story progresses, I suppose. Also, if you'd like to support me on Patreon, that would be much appreciated. All the links to Twitter, Patreon, etc. are always in the description below. Moving on then to transfers. This is what you guys are excited about for today's episode, I'm sure. You can see there we've made quite a few signings this year compared to last season, last summer. We've actually made more signings this summer compared to the entirety of last season. Much less players going out as well though, because last season we had a big clear out of players we didn't need. This season, notable players leaving the club. There's a few. Taylor Coker, our left wing back, played a few games for the club, as did Mister in his first season with us, but didn't play since then. Richard Wilson probably is the most notable. He made a number of appearances for the club, 51 league appearances, couple goals for the club as well, and a decent average rating overall, but with all the centre-backs that I now have, he's surplus to requirements and he doesn't fit into the team anymore, not even into the under-23s really. Matt Campbell, backup keeper for many years, is gone, and Gareth Pointing, the young striker who came through the youth academy, was never going to be a star for us. He scored plenty of goals for the youth teams. We can't actually, those sort of statistics seem to vanish for whatever reason, but he did score a number of goals for the youth teams. Chris McDonald, from our first ever youth intake, he was the second best player after Leon Thompson, has also left the club. I had high hopes from him because he had decent passing and vision, but nothing else has developed for him, and unfortunately, he's not going to be good enough for us. Although, to be fair, 1-star current ability is the same as Dion Mills apparently, so I could have given him a go, I guess. But I've got a few players with 1-star current ability, and we've elected to go with Dion Mills and Woodland, I suppose. Maybe I should have given him a go, I don't know. Sam Palmer as well, a couple of games I think in his first season for us. Maybe not actually, I think I just stuck him in the under-23s, hoped he would progress, but he didn't progress. And Mark Johnson, who did play in the first ever season for us. He actually played he made 1 start and 10 sub appearances in that first season where we somehow survived. He scored 1 goal for us as well and got a couple assists. But since then, he dropped to the under-23s and never turned it into anything decent. He had pace and that was it. So he didn't have anything else to offer the club. Now coming into the team, we've already seen Chris Scott, and he scored a couple goals in pre-season, 3 goals in fact, in non-competitive games in 5 starts and 4 sub appearances. One of them was a beautiful goal, which I will show you in a minute. This guy, Lawrence Capel, is coming on loan from Lincoln City. Lincoln play in the same division as us, so you might think it's a bit strange him coming on loan. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and I could have bought him for something like 10k, but I thought if I can loan him and they don't want him this season, then I might as well loan him, and then maybe next season I can poach him for free. So a little bit of a strange move from Lincoln City, loaning out a player that probably would be good enough for them, because he's good enough for my team. He's our 3rd best centre-back apparently, alongside Charlie Lofts, so could be a useful player this year. He's only just come back from injury, so unlikely to start the first few games. Next coming into the team was Phil Sawyer, a central midfielder, 2-star current ability. I find it very difficult to find central midfielders for whatever reason. At the start of the save it was difficult to find strikers, finding plenty of strikers now. But now it's midfielders. Oh, by the way, excuse the washing in the background. Part-time football manager, full-time washer man, doing all the washing for the club, basically. Well, that's me, putting a shift in. Anyway, back to Phil Sawyer. He looks all right. I think he can progress it. Hopefully, can develop into a decent player. I mean, I've had high hopes for everyone, haven't I? Started at West Ham. So a player that starts at a Premier League club, we've got a few of those now. You sort of have a little bit of expectation that maybe they can turn into a decent non-league footballer at least. He's got 12 on passing, 13 on vision. That's why I quite like him. He's a determined fella as well. Decent jumping reach, which is a bit random when he's only got 4 on heading. But he's a tall guy. He's only slightly shorter than Dion Mills, so he's similar in that vein. He's tall, he's got jumping reach, but can't head a ball. Very weird. Jordan Glover is the next guy. Now, he has gone straight into the under-23s for the time being, because we've got a couple of right wing backs. We've got Halcroft, we've got Tim Green, the backup. Jordan Glover is our first Scot to come to Regen Rovers, so those of you from Scotland have someone to cheer on now in the team. We'll see how he gets on in the under-23s. He's decent at free kicks, he's got flair, decent work rate as well, and aggression, as always, at this level. But as you know from the last episode, I'm trying to play inverted wing backs going forwards. We'll see how that works. So he will be training up to be an inverted wing back. I need to do that actually. He's unconvincing as a wing back. He is more of a right back, apparently, but defensively is not the greatest. I don't know. I don't think he will progress that well, but we'll hopefully be pleasantly surprised. Now, next up is Patrick Dibber, or Diber. Let's go with Dibber, who doing exceptionally well in training, as you can see there. But he is from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He was 17th in the world rankings on this save, doing really well actually. So it's good to have some different nationalities coming into the squad finally. They're all ones that started at English clubs, because I can't sign players from abroad. They won't come to England, to Reigate, to Regen Rovers on a part-time contract moving from abroad. They're not able to do that really. So it's players that were picked up by English youth academies that have just fallen out of favour, not progressed, and dropped into non-league. Now, he did play for Tonbridge Angels last season in the division below. Didn't do very well at all. But I quite like his attributes. 13 passing, vision's okay, 9. He works hard, Teamwork's very good. He's a leader as well, determined, pretty physical, and he's improving, as you can see here. So possibly could be a decent midfielder alongside Marlowe. Now Marlowe, for whatever reason, his ability's gone down, but I'm guessing that's because I've improved the squad over the summer. So apparently he is not as good as Dibba. We'll have to stick with Marlowe for the time being. It's up to Patrick Dibba to try and knock Marlowe out of that first team spot. Reece Walker, who was a great defender for us last year, and actually I almost sold in the summer. I can't remember who it was that was interested in him, but I had some bids for him from Scotland, and it was either a Championship or Premier Division club in Scotland. I was so close to selling him for about 25,000. It would have risen to 25,000, which is a lot of money for me at this level, but at the same time I thought he is our best prospect at the back, alongside Danny Bye, of course, but Reece Walker is a really, really good defender, and he can also play central midfield very well, apparently. But he going forwards, he's going to be an exceptional defender for us, so I decided to keep him. We can't sell our best players at this stage when we're looking to try and progress as a club. Grant Hunter is next. Now he's come in as a backup goalkeeper, basically replacing Matt Campbell, I guess, but he's got a much better prospects than any goalkeepers we've signed previously. He's only 18 years old. He's already a 1.5 star ability goalkeeper, so he's actually better than Grant Waugh. Well, the same ability as Grant Waugh, let's say, but he's got potential to be decent. So we'll see how he progresses in the under-23s. Kevin Miguel is next. He's the youngest player to be in our first team for a long, long time, actually. Most of our players are aged 20 or 21 now, aren't they? But we've got a few players under 20. This guy is only 17, and he only turned 17 a few months ago, back in May. So he's a very young player. He left Dorchester Town. I signed him for £500. He was born in Dorchester. Interestingly, he has another nationality. His second nationality is Vincentian, St. Vincent, an island in the southern Caribbean. So it's great to have him join the team, but he's so young and he's versatile. He can play central midfield pretty well. Decent passing, hard worker, good teamwork. He's determined, he's brave. But I'm actually going to be training him up to try and be an inverted left wing back. He can already play wing back pretty well, as you can see there. But we're trying inverted wing backs. He's a midfielder, naturally. And I think inverted wing backs, they need to be good in midfield, because that's the whole point of their role. The inverted wing back goes into the midfield area. And if he's decent in the midfield, then hopefully he can play well there. Unfortunately, there's a few technical attributes he's not so good at. Tackling and passing, tackling and marking do need to be improved, but he's a good passer of the ball, which I think is quite important for inverted wingback. I don't know if it actually says that. Let's have a look. Inverted wingback support. Yes, you need to be good at passing. He's got 11 on passing. Things like dribbling, marking and tackling, they can be improved over time. He's already very good at determination, work rate. Positioning needs to be improved. Decisions is alright. His acceleration and stamina and pace are okay as well. So I think he's got the attributes to be able to be turned into an okay inverted wingback. And hopefully going forward he will be our main man on the left. Next in is JJ. Jake Jarvis is his actual name. We love an alliterative name, so we're going to call him JJ for short. He's a central defender who is left-footed, so we need we had at one point all our defenders were left-footed, which was very strange, but now we've got quite a few right-footers. We need a few left-footers in there to play on that left-hand side of the three at the back. He might be the first choice. Haven't decided. It's probably going to be Capel on loan from Lincoln going forwards, but we've got a few other options. We've got JJ, we've got Holmes, we've got Lofts, we've got lots of decent centre backs, which is really good. We're strong at the back, we're strong at the front. The middle section is a little bit bleh at the moment, but this guy looks decent. Needs to improve his tackling, but heading and marking are okay. Another player that's very good with the teamwork, and he's brave as well. He's got good jumping reach. He's a tall guy, 191 centimetres. I've got high hopes for him as well. He's only 18 years old, so we've got a few youngsters in the team now. Next up is Alex Hall. This guy could actually challenge Shiv Zelis. as horrible as that may sound, Civzelis he's a fan favourite. He's our best goalkeeper. He's unbelievable sometimes. But this guy, Alex Hall, is only 19. He's a couple of years younger than Civzelis. He's already apparently at the same ability as Civzelis. In fact, he's been placed out on top here by whoever's by a goalkeeping coach, who I guess we need to believe he's the goalkeeping coach. If we go for someone like my new assistant manager, Stijn Mulder from Holland, yep, he actually thinks he's better than Civzelis, but I think we have to go with the goalkeeping coach. I won't be playing him as first choice. Civzelis has done nothing wrong. He is first choice. It's up to Alex Hall to try and push him hard and become first choice. The only issue with Alex Hall, I find, is his handling is pretty poor. Only 9. Let's compare him. We'll compare him with Civzelis, of course, and have a look at them. So you can see here, technically, well, goalkeeping wise, Civzelis has an average of 7 across these attributes, and Alex Hall was 6. Now, Alex Hall's much better mentally. Physically, they are the same, but with different attributes. So you're looking at command of area, aerial reach. Alex Hall is the better goalkeeper in the air, I think. He's got better command of area. They've got the same aerial reach, but command of area is better. Civzelis, however, is taller, but maybe Alex Hall will grow because he's only 19 at the moment. Although by that point you've usually grown to your full extent, haven't you? Reflexes, though, are very similar, but it is the handling that I think could let Alex Hall down, because Civzelis has 13 and Hall only has 9. But reflex-wise, they are the same. Agility-wise, Civzelis is much better at this stage, but positioning, Alex Hall is slightly better. So if we look at key attributes for a goalkeeper, positioning is important, and Alex Hall is better. Communication-wise, they're both pretty appalling. I don't know why Civzelis is so bad at communication, but I suppose we could always send them to some sort of evening class, to public speaking course or something like that. So I've got high hopes for Alex Hall as well. And lastly, Craig Palmer coming into the team is a decent striker. We've signed him from Reading. Well, they released him. I like the look of this guy because he's got brilliant finishing. I love a striker with finishing. 15. Decent composure and off the ball. He's okay physically as well. Works hard, which is always good. He's decent at free kicks as well. 12 on free kicks. So we've got a lot of choice in the striker positions, as you can see here. We've got Chris Scott, the new signing. Bradley Berry still here after a very good season for the under-23s last year. Jack Young is unfortunately injured for another week. He got injured earlier in pre-season, so once again, a bit of a setback for him. He's going to have to come into the new season after a 6-week injury. It's going to take a bit of time to get going, I think. We've still got Orford. Don't know if he's got much to offer. Let's hope he does when he is required. Darren Miller. Spencer Drury, I think, is our best striker. Didn't have the best of seasons last year, but ended it well. We've got Dale Wall as well as the target man, and Brady Chick as the other target man, who's got amazing finishing as well, remember, and long shots. And where's the other guy? Craig Palmer. So much choice up front. It's pretty ridiculous, really. If we look at the team report, I would love to improve the midfield if possible, but I don't know. It looks like we're not really going to be able to. This is the facts then. You can see our youngest player in the first team is Kevin Miguel, and Grant Waugh and Jack Young, both joint oldest player. Our average age is still 20. It's still well below that of the National League's average 24. D.L. Mills is still our tallest player. Heaviest player, Lawrence Capel, is heavy. Dr. Jones is our lightest. I thought this only showed first team things, but maybe it's showing under 23s as well. What a legend Dr. Jones is. He's never improved, and I don't think he ever will be, but we have to keep him at the club as a club ambassador, I suppose. We wouldn't be here. This team, these people would not exist without Dr. Jones. This parallel universe would have been ended without Dr. Jones. Moving on to this comparison thing, so you can just see how we compare to the rest of the division. You can see when you look at all positions, once again, we've got the highest teamwork, but things like first touch are the lowest. Technically, we are one of the poorest teams in the division. Goalkeeper-wise, though, pretty good. Reflexes, 13. Agility, pretty strong. Throwing's not good. Distribution's not the best for us, and always one-on-ones, as you can see there. Defence-wise, everything is either average or below average. But I like my defence. I think it's pretty strong with certain attributes. We're not very good at heading. for whatever. I suppose this is including wing-backs though as well, and our full-back wing-backs aren't particularly good defensively. If I was just to look at centre-backs, I think we'd have a pretty strong lineup across the board here. Midfield passing is the highest. That is a surprise. Teamwork is also very high, 3rd highest. Vision's pretty high, 9th. But technique is the lowest, so like I said, technique is poor. Finishing for the strikers is still the 2nd highest. We're the slowest team though with our strikers, which isn't great. Physically, strength-wise, we're still pretty weak. 2nd from bottom. I think that's because we've got such a young team. Pace is the lowest. Acceleration is the lowest. Mental though, teamwork, like I said, is the best. Work rate has dropped. Work rate has dropped off a bit. It's dropped down to 4th, but it's still pretty high. Anticipation's lowest for whatever reason. And lastly, technical. As always, we're pretty poor at these, but we do have good finishing across our team. 2nd highest in the division. We are predicted to finish 23rd again. I'll just turn my face off. 1,000 to 1. We were 450 to 1 earlier in the summer. Suddenly, we're 1,000 to 1 again at the start of the season. Have I not signed good enough players? Well, this is going to be a struggle according to the game, but I hope the momentum from last season, we're unbeaten in quite a few games. We scored in 21 games in a row as well. Hopefully we can push forwards. Bury are the favourites to win the league, so they're the team to watch out for. Wrexham, Fylde, Eastleigh, Gateshead, they're all up there again, but most of them had pretty poor seasons last year. Woking are favourites to go down. They just got promoted, as did Hampton and Richmond, Stalybridge and Salford, so they're all towards the bottom. Aldershot relegated from League 2, predicted to finish mid-table, so maybe they're going to struggle. My key players, according to the game, Reece Walker and Stuart Warren. So moving on to pre-season. You can see there's a few thrashings in there, but they're against big teams. And we did win most of our other games apart from a draw against Telford. First game I took on Bournemouth. I tried to get some big games to earn some money, but at the same time I then realised we don't have a full capacity because it's been expanded to over 4,000 people, our stadium, so it's actually down to about 2,700 at the moment. So we've got nearly a full capacity against Bournemouth. Halcroft got sent off when we lost 3-0 against a strong Bournemouth team. But we then got back to a winning ways. 4-0 win against Croydon. Croydon though, I mean, I don't know which division they're in. They're probably regional level, 2nd tier, regional level or something like that. But anyway, it's good to get some goals. Miller scored, Drury got a couple. Chris Scott scored as well, his first goal for the club. Although these don't count, of course, because they're only friendlies. 5-2 win against Highmore Ibis. Scott's got another goal. Drury did as well. Bradley Berry got a couple, and Brady Chick scored. It's a bit disappointing to concede 2 goals, but still, it's pre-season. It's all about fitness levels, isn't it? 3-1 win against Tooting and Mitcham. Now, some exciting news. We actually have an affiliate, and it is Tooting and Mitcham. They are our feeder club. I asked the board if I could have a feeder club. They suggested 4 teams. I went for Tooting and Mitcham. They don't have any regens, I don't think. They might produce some over time, and if they get promoted to the Conference South, then I guess they will also produce regens. But there are regens being produced by some of the teams below the playable leagues on the games. So I'm hoping they start to produce some, and then we can maybe sign some decent players. Basically went for hit but for them because Mikel Antonio, the West Ham player, started there. So if they produced him, maybe they produce another Antonio for us. And as you can see, central midfielders did well. Mackenzie and Marlowe goals, and Bradley Berry got a late goal as well to win us that game. Turned it around from 1-0 down. Now, we got thrashed by Crystal Palace, as you would expect. But Chris Scott's goal was an exceptional finish. We scored 2 goals against Palace. That is an achievement, I think. Dibber with the assist, but look at this for a finish. Brilliant. From the angle, lobbed it over the keeper. That was sensational stuff. We then lost 3-1 against Leicester. We did go 1-0 up thanks to Spencer Drury. Let's just watch his goal. He scored a few goals in pre-season, hoping that he's on fire for the start of this season against Barrow today. Palmer, the new striker, played it into Chick, and then Drury, nice finish past the keeper. They did turn it around and scored 3 goals. 1-1 draw against Telford, little bit disappointing. Watala Subi got a goal in the 39th minute. And Marcus Brown with a really late equaliser for Telford He plays for West Ham in real life, Marcus Brown. That was a good finish. It was an open goal essentially, but he still had to stick it in the back of the net, didn't he? Then a 4-3 win against Heybridge from Essex. This was disappointing because they're not a very good team, Heybridge, but they scored 3 goals against us, so I'm not sure what's really going on with the defence at the moment. So we go into this game against Barrow, unbeaten against them. They didn't beat us last season. We got a draw and a win. But they will be tough. They're a better team than us. And they did pretty well last season, I think. I've selected the team then. And the back line is very similar to last year. Sibs Ellis, Walker, by Holmes, Halcroft. Going with Watalasubi on the left. He did pretty well in pre-season. That's the reason why. And I'm going with Marlowe in the middle. In his usual position. He played very well. He's played very well in his 2 seasons at the club. So I think it makes sense to keep him in. And Sawyer. Phil Sawyer's going alongside him as the ball-winning midfielder now. He's only got 8 on tackling. It would be more sensible to put someone in like Mackenzie, but something about Mackenzie that just seemed... Actually, Mackenzie's only got 7 on tackling, so I don't know. It's his aggression that sort of makes him suited to ball-winning midfielder, but his tackling's not very good. I could do with a proper ball-winning midfielder, but I can't find anyone that wants to come, and it's pretty irritating. I'm playing Bradley Berry up front for this game. He did well in pre-season, so I'm sticking him there, alongside Chick and Drury. On the bench, we've got Palmer and Scott. We've also got Kevin Miguel. Now, he's there because he can play central midfield, or he can play as a wing-back. So I think that's useful. And Lofts as well is quite a versatile centre-back. And he's a good centre-back. He's just made a lot of mistakes for us so far in his Regen Rovers career. The strength in depth is great. Look how many players we have. Well, I hope it's strength in depth. We've got a lot of players anyway, as you can see. Capel will probably be first choice on the left when he's a bit fitter to play with. A lot of our players are still not quite match sharp yet, despite all those friendlies. We've got Patrick Dibber as well, that I would like to transition into the first team very soon. JJ, we've got so much choice up front, and Jack Young will have to come back when he's fit. You know, he has to be in there. Alex Hall is on the bench as well today instead of Grant Waugh. Maybe Grant Waugh's days as substitute keeper are over. Sad times. Let's do this then. First game of the season. I'm excited. Our 6th season with Regen Rovers. Please smash that like button if you're looking forward to this season. 400 likes today would be great. We haven't hit that for a while. So it'd be fantastic if you can hit that for the start of this new season. The support you guys have been giving this series has been fantastic. Getting involved in Fan Corner. That one, the guy that made the fake BBC Sport article about Regen Rovers fans burning down Ebbsfleet Stadium. That is dedication. I love that you're getting involved in that way. Really getting behind me as well and encouraging me. Some of you guys are just tweeting some really nice things to me. It's lovely to hear. It really helps me keep motivated. I'm loving the series, but to know that there's you guys loving it as well, it just helps even more. This story, it is brilliant, isn't it? We've taken them so far, and there's still so much more to come from this team. And there's so many months ahead of us, of course, on the FM17 cycle. And I've only done this. I've only done Regen Rovers on FM17 since the full game was released. Of course, I did the tutorials at the start. I was aiming on doing other things soon after release. But I've just been so in love with this. I've not got round to it. Here comes Bradley Berry then. Can we get an early goal? No, it's a poor cross from Bradley Berry there, which is a shame. But Sawyer wins a header there, given away. I don't know whether target man... We need a target man for this tactic. I've continued using one in Brady Chick or Dale Wall. Here he is, Brady Chick! Oh, so unlucky. He's cracked the crossbar. Our second top scorer last year. I've got so many talented strikers that can finish chances. I'm not sure what the best combination is up front in terms of player roles. I don't know whether it's best to play 3 strikers as Brady Chick gets injured. In fact, I'm now going to have to do something different entirely because I don't have a target man on the bench. I'm going to bring Chris Scott on. And what I'm going to do is we're going to play as a deep lying forward because he can dribble. I'm going to turn... We want him to dribble more, actually. Scott and Drury will both play as poachers. Let's see if this works. I did show the instructions in the last episode, but these are the instructions I'm using for those that didn't see the 5th season review. It's a little bit different. We're playing narrow now. I've changed the pitch dimensions to be narrower because we do find a lot of joy down the middle. Some of our best goals are scored down the middle. Of course, we have scored lots of goals from our wing backs getting down the wing, or Bradley Berry or Jack Young running out wide and putting a ball in. We can still do that. I'm just trying to play some nice football down the middle of the pitch. So far, it's not quite worked, but we almost scored a goal through Brady Chick. Let's hope he's not too badly injured. We can still come out with a win. That's motivated a couple of the lads. Phil Sawyer's on a yellow and he's tired, so I'm going to take him off for Kevin Miguel. His first appearance for the team. His first. And he's only 17 and he's making his debut. Get behind him, guys. You away fans that have gone up to Barrow. Cheer Kevin on. Gotta love someone called Kevin. Here's Barrow then. Are they going to punish us? Let's hope not. Watalasubi gets in nicely. Drury plays it through to Bradley Berry. Bradley Berry crosses it in. Scott scores on his debut. He's only been on the pitch about 20 minutes and he scores his first goal in his first game for Regen Rovers. That's what he's all about. He's a poacher. He's got 15 on finishing. And, well, he almost tried to miss by hitting it straight at the keeper, but the keeper couldn't keep it out. And we're 1-0 up. Bradley Berry with the assist. Danny Bye with a free kick into Miguel. The 17-year-old's lost the ball. And there's no one back. Danny Bye is all the way up the pitch. And it's 1-1. Was that an experience from Kevin Miguel there, losing the ball in a dangerous position? It's from a free kick from us as well. That's really frustrating. Spencer Drury's going to come off. We're going to bring on Craig Palmer as an advanced forward. He's going to make his debut as well today. Is this going to be another chance? Watalasubi into Palmer. Back to Watalasubi. Long ball over. The keeper had to be alert to that. He catches the ball quite easily though. Pumped up the pitch. Bye does really well. It's into Palmer. It's into Scott, the goal scorer. Miguel, nice ball through, but it couldn't quite find Palmer. And now Barrow can counter-attack once again. Maybe Miguel wasn't the best option as fired wide. He'll learn. He's only 17 years old. Howcroft gives the ball away. That's poor. Poor throw-in. Why is he just giving the ball away there? I've still got it on attacking. I'm really going for it this season. And Barrow can make it 2-1. They do. Disappointing. Defensively, not being very good in the second half. And we are going to go a bit more direct now. And we're going overload because it worked so well at the end of last season. Our unbeaten run, I think, is going to end today on the first day of the season. I've been adventurous. It's not quite worked out, has it, in the end? Bit of inexperience from Kevin. Maybe we can score a late equaliser though. Here's Scott. It's back to Howcroft. Howcroft into Marlowe. Plays it back to Howcroft. Puts it over the top. Can't find anyone. Marlowe loses the ball. And here come Barrow again. Defensively, we've just fallen apart at the back as well. As that's 3-1, it's all over. We can learn from today's defeat. It's a setback. It's a poor first day of the season. After going 1-0 up as well. It's an adventurous tactic. I think defensively it's going to be a little bit shaky. I might need to change things up a little bit. I also need to analyse whether inverted wingbacks will work. I am going to be starting a thing called, as the final also goes, I'm going to be starting a thing called Player Diaries in the next episode where we focus on an individual player's performance over the last few games and look at the analysis. Fired up, said I wasn't happy because it was a poor... I mean, look at the defence. It's back to square one just like last season. They fell apart in the second half. Whether it was their mistakes or Miguel 6.0 gave the ball away, not a good debut for him. Bit unfortunate. Maybe I should have kept Phil Sawyer on even though he was on a yellow and he was tired. Maybe that was my mistake. I suppose it is bad substitution. You can blame me, guys. Thanks for watching today's episode though. Despite that defeat, I am positive for this season. That was away from home against a strong team. There were encouraging signs inside the first 50 minutes or so. We just capitulated after that. Next few games are tough though. We've got Aldershot Town, who were relegated last season. We've got Wrexham, who are predicted to finish high up the league. Tranmere as well, who almost got into the playoffs last season, looking for revenge. I will show the Eastleigh game and the Halifax Town game next. So wish me luck for the next few games. I will see you in episode 44.